All right, guys, we're doing this. Trey Ferguson is here joining us. We are gonna check out Norm Macdonald Talks About God. I got this, I got this recommended to me quite a bit. So excited to check it out. No idea what we're in for. And as a reminder to my viewers, I am a God-believing person, so this is gonna be interesting. I go to church every Sunday. I do all of that, and I like it. It makes me happy. To each their own. So let's see what he has. Let's see what take he has, what jokes he has, and I'm open. It's my boy Norm. Let's check it out. Hit like and subscribe. Thanks for the support, and also, hey, links in the description down below of where to find me on social media, how to donate, all of that jazz. And we're gonna be having some more content coming soon. I've been wanting to document some thoughts for my kids, oddly enough. I know I'll explain it another time. So we're going to have some different type of content coming out here soon. Not just the reactions, but at the same time, bro, I just can't stop watching Norm Macdonald or all of this other stuff. So anyway, really appreciate y'all coming down this journey with me. Let's check this out. And comment down below. Comment down below your thoughts on the video. And it is 20 minutes long of a compilation. We'll see if I split this into two or if we just go, man. So, all right, let's get after it.
I just want to go in my sleep when I'm old and have a
nice.
nice dream or something, you know.
Yeah. Where are you going to go?
To die, to go with the Lord.
You believe in Lord?
Kona.
I do.
You do? Are you religious?
I believe in God.
I do too.
That's as far as I go.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't need your buddy Bill Maher telling me I'm an idiot. You think there's a God?
Heck yes. I actually...
I think there's something that
like that.
makes good
Yeah, sometimes Bill Maher, I feel the insult coming because, yeah, he makes me feel stupid for believing in God, but I do. But I love
people,
that.
that makes good things happen to good people in the most general sense. Obviously, bad things happen to good things happen to bad people. I don't think of a guy. People they gave you that guy idea, the old guy.
Sure. Well, why? Yeah, how would we know his nature?
Yeah.
But when I look into your eyes, though, I'm not joking. When I
It's
look
just I've never had a talk show host say that to me.
when I look into your eyes, I see.
And I've done hundreds of talk shows.
I see an eternal being.
I've never got the answer to the one question, which is why? Why Connecticut children? Why? Why a bomber in Boston? Because if there is a God, he's omnipotent.
Yeah.
If he's omnipotent, he could prevent it.
Yes.
Why didn't he
Could he? Would I? Could it?
I don't know, man, but you got
I
to
don't
stop
get it.
hanging out in that hot tub with Bill Maher all the time. It sounds like you got a God-shaped hole in your heart.
What the hell are you talking about? You get a lot of attention on Twitter sphere for being open about your religious views. What are they?
I had no idea about
I'm a
this.
Christian. It's not
Devout?
stylish to say now.
No, are you devout?
Yeah.
You believe in the Lord?
Yes, I do.
You think you're going somewhere when it ends?
I don't believe it, but what people don't understand about faith.
Sorry, I'm hoping one day my kids actually watch this. I want to just say my thought there really quick. One of the biggest mistakes, I think, in my opinion, granted, I could totally be wrong in the way I interpret scripture and all of these things, but that's the biggest thing I always hear. If God is omnipotent, he would prevent these things from happening. Yes, a lot of people believe in an omnipotent God, but if you try to understand that, it doesn't really seem like that way. It seems like if there is a God in that interpretation, God receives power from also keeping the same laws that we are supposed to keep. And because of a perfect obedience to natural laws, things can then miracles can happen. And sometimes enough of the requirements for a miracle have been achieved where it can happen, or sometimes they just don't. Things just happen in this life. And yeah, biggest in my interpretation of all this, do I believe that an omnipotent God can prevent things from happening? I actually don't. And I think God is supposed to let those things happen for our development, and it was part of the bargain for coming to Earth. Okay, this is Norm. Sorry.
Faith is
Let's go.
that you have to choose it. You know what I mean? They think that you believe it, but you have to choose it.
So you choose to have faith.
Yes.
That means you believe you're going somewhere. What is faith? But I have faith.
Yeah, the same way that you believe. There's a lot of things I have faith, but I don't really believe in DNA. Like if I was on a jury and a guy was predicted that his DNA was on this cigarette, I go, I don't know what DNA is.
I see. So you don't have faith in that?
No, I don't have faith in science.
Really?
Well, think about it. Haven't scientists always been wrong? Like they used to think the sun went around the earth. Everybody's, hey, that scientist. Well, he's so smart. We'll give him a white coat.
Other science refuted it.
Right, but back then, like everybody at that time thought that guy was smart. Why at this time do we think that the earth goes around the sun?
Did Christ think the world was flat?
Huh?
Did Christ think the world was flat?
I don't think so.
These are questions I ask.
Okay. Buy Norm Macdonald merchandise. That was dude. I didn't expect. I thought this video was gonna just be. See, this is what's fun. I actually have no idea what Norm Macdonald's like worldviews are besides the comedy we've watched. This is kind of really interesting. Didn't expect this.
But that this nonsense is important. I couldn't disagree more.
This nonsense being life.
Not being life, being the tiny gossip of life. Like to me, saying I'm proud to be Asian, you may as well say I'm proud to have a green shirt. I don't know what the fuck you're so proud of. So I think as far as the question of God goes, I wish that science, which is supposed to explore these things, refuses to explore the fundamental question that is of interest not only to religious people, but intensely to atheists as well. They spend a lot of time thinking about something they don't care about.
Isn't that is interesting?
That science should
observation
spend all their time. I mean, they spend time trying to find new galaxies, as if that's important. Since God's an unproven thing, just a hypothesis at this point, I think it would be good to study it.
Well, but it can't in the scientific process. There has to be something there. How could you even go about? I mean, they've gone through space.
Who's he talking to?
They didn't find God floating around. How could you possibly test it scientifically? They just say it's unknowable. It's beyond our area of what we can know. Right? It's a belief. It's a faith.
Well, that's what they say because they're thinking in evidentiary ways, but the scientific method.
That's what science is.
But the scientific method, first of all, the scientific method always begins with intuition. Always.
It's always a hypothesis.
Einstein used intuition. He did not study things objectively and find things. He was struck with something and then followed that notion that he had, or whatever you call that. I call it intuition.
Dude, Norm is
you could put divine roots to it if you wanted to too, but that's how things are. That's how important things are discovered. And obviously, there is an enormous intuition amongst every person that has ever lived that God exists.
But it has to go beyond intuition into the whole scientific community verifying it or falsifying it. So it starts with that intuition, but then there has to be something there. There has to be some facts.
No, not necessarily. For instance, if you have a deep intuition that cigarettes cause cancer, which is still unproven, by the way, then you...
Wait, what?
You don't need evidence. And if
comment down below, is that for real?
You certainly don't need evidence. You don't need a body. You don't need to find a dead body. If something, if all things point to something, I don't know. I have very strong belief in intuition, and I just find it interesting that something that everyone believes some people pretend not to. I just find that very, very interesting. That's all.
It's not everyone, then. Yeah, I think that's.
Like, for instance, I'll tell you this. For instance, if you see an atheist, you will never see an atheist argue that God doesn't exist because the tenets of Scientology are absurd. They will always pick Christianity. So it's very interesting that they choose the God that they decide doesn't exist, which means really they're choosing the God they think exists.
No, I don't think that's the case. If you read some atheists, they'll say that Zeus doesn't exist. The Christian God doesn't exist. That any of the gods you can think of don't exist. Or better yet, they'll say, maybe strong atheists will say that, but the intellectually more honest ones might say there's just no evidence that they exist, and since there is no concrete evidence, why bother living your life?
Well, give me solid evidence he doesn't,
in assuming that there is.
Well, here's the thing. Science has only proven maybe, I think, 4 things in the history of science. So that's why there's a theory of evolution, even though evolution is I think, certain. It certainly happened. I think evolution certainly happened. Now, I could say to you if I wanted to that it is a theory because they haven't proven it. But I believe it.
They use theory differently in science. Yeah. It doesn't mean the same as, I have a theory that, whatever.
They use it because they have strict rules on what makes a law.
Right.
And it's almost, impossible for anything to become a law.
Where I want to then just quickly put, how do I think about this, right? I'm starting to get asked this a lot, especially at work, because I'm trying to not shy away from admitting that, yes, I am Christian. I don't want to have any sort of okay, here, this is what I'm trying to say. People have asked me, have I ever faced racial persecution? Kind of. I've been called racial things in the past. The hardest, if you want to call it, experiences of my life were things that were said to me and things that happened because I admitted I was a Christian. So I take pride in this, and the interesting thought, man, I was not expecting this. We're 9 minutes in, and I cannot stop thinking and talking or listening to Norm here. Thanks for the suggestion so far. But no, I can't prove that there is a God, but no one has proven to me that there isn't. So, yeah, I'm just choosing to believe. It makes me happier. And I do find evidences, and that's, again, belief bias. But I don't care. Life has been better for me since I converted, right? Anyway.
But scientists will believe that, it is 99.9% sure, given that there is evolution, but they're always open to new evidence, and they have to be. And, and when you talk about Copernicus
I don't know if they're open to new evidence. When I hear Stephen Hawking say there is no God, I go, what kind of scientist is that? I heard him say that. I heard him say there is no God. It's a fairy tale. That's not a scientist to me.
Well, that's one scientist. So the scientific community is everybody.
Stephen Hawking's.
Yeah.
That's the preeminent physicist in the entire world, is saying something out of obvious prejudice.
Did you hear the whole quote, or is this like an Adam Carolla thing?
No, I didn't hear the whole quote. No,
you read it on Facebook.
No, I did not hear the whole quote, to be fair.
Who
but I was
is
kind of
this
shocked
dude he's talking to?
That science says we've given up.
That guy clearly is an atheist and doesn't like what Norm's saying.
Unknowable.
Nothing wrong with being an atheist, by the way. If you are,
that's a new one on me, because that's not a scientific term as far as I know. Unknowable?
Maybe they don't.
I don't think they could. I don't think scientists could possibly use that term unknowable because it infers that they can see into the future.
Okay, now you can't blame me for where this has gone.
No, I can't. No.
But I'm going to go with it. How would you even begin to prove the existence of a God?
Well, I don't know because I don't have the powers of a scientist. I certainly couldn't prove the existence of the planet Mercury, if that's even a planet anymore. I can't, I can prove anything. I'm just taking their word for it.
Right, and that's what we do. And when you say in your act, I know it's comedy, but, Copernicus and Sir Isaac Newton, they made these glaring errors, but at the time that was the best evidence available, but who is it that always corrects them? It's science as a community. It's other scientists. It's not just somebody going, no, I got this idea. It's actually, maybe that's how it starts, but then they actually have to set out and study it and prove it.
Yes. No,
so it's other scientists that correct scientists.
I'm all for science.
Okay, good.
Because I want them to make things that'll make me live longer and stuff, But I would really like I would like eternal life. I would like some proof one way or the other. If prove it that God doesn't exist, I don't care what you prove. Like, at least prove one of them. But try to work on the only important thing. Certainly everyone can agree that's the most important thing, whether or not we're alone, or whether or not we're taken care of. Certainly anyone in their right mind would agree that's the most important question to answer.
You mean for an afterlife?
Not necessarily for an afterlife, but that would also be good. But without God, there's no purpose. I don't care what anyone pretends otherwise. But it's highly, highly irrational to say that there's purpose without God, because there simply isn't.
Right, but it's not a bad thing to have no purpose. We're born, we die. It was nice.
No, that's fine, but that's not what most atheists proclaim.
Yeah.
But no, if that were the case, that would be fine as well. But most atheists proclaim that there can be purpose in life without God.
Well, you make your own purpose, right? Or not, whatever. But you're just here for however long you're here.
Yeah. But I don't believe you can make your own purpose any more than I believe.
So a greater purpose.
No, I just think I don't. Obviously, a fucking dog can't make his own purpose. Or an ant, or a honeybee. You know what I mean? So why the fuck should we think we can make our own purpose? It doesn't even make sense.
So define purpose.
Again, it's this idea that man is somehow important. It's this crazy idea that both highly religious people have and atheists have, that man has some quality to them. Atheists have this idea that they can't quite resolve within themselves, that man is divine. But they can't say divine because that means God. But they believe it. They don't believe they're equal. Man, no man, I don't care what they say, no man believes he's equal to an animal or an insect. No man. I don't care if he lives on top of a mountain with snow and shit, he still doesn't believe he's an insect.
Seems like this is a reaction against certain atheists who have certain arguments, but that shouldn't affect how you believe.
I think the reaction. I think it's the reaction that there is an argument besides that you're an idiot.
No, it's a different, and because I believe intuition is everything to me, more than my mind, because my mind can play tricks on me, and my mind is very easily swayed by others and so forth. I personally believe that there's something else other than the mind that you can't talk me into murdering somebody with your atheistic idea that what does it matter one way or the other. I could read all the
That's actually really, really interesting.
existential literature of all time. I still wouldn't kill someone.
Take some bath salts, though.
Dude, I forgot that those were a big
percent.
percent.
Help make this funny at some point.
Yeah, I mean, there is something intuitively telling us, like, I don't think you need religion or a belief to have some sort of something telling you inside you that something you're doing is wrong. Right? I mean, I have a lot of friends who really hate God-fearing Christian people. Like, and I can understand. I think they had some experiences when they were young that led them to associate prejudice and judgment to Christianity and Christians, and they had rough experiences where, like, I get it. And then they claim that some of those things, like inside, that are telling them when they're not reaching their potential, oh, that was just my upbringing, right? They blame it solely on that, when maybe there's just something in you bigger than we think, right? And it lets us know when we're not being our best. And it's not just whatever our freaking parents or someone said. Like, I know we like to think that, because if we can associate whatever guilt we felt in not reaching our potential, if we can associate that with something someone taught us, and we can blame it on them and then disregard that, then hopefully, I think what we're hoping there is we can stop feeling guilty about not reaching our potential, when maybe instead we just need to listen to that voice and become better, right? Like, we want to become more comfortable with the thing we're trying to justify by claiming, oh, just stupid freaking God believers who put that in my head or something. This video is taking a weird turn. I don't know if I should post this. It's not entertaining. But
Your intuition must have been proven wrong at some point in your life.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's very true. Like, but not the real deep intuition that stayed. Like, I often would find myself, like, very heavily influenced by culture, or whatever you want to call it, or sociology, whatever those words
Sociology.
are. Where I sometimes, I remember when I realized I didn't like sunsets at one point in my life, and I was like, what the fuck am I looking at this shit? I don't even like it. And I realized that I just thought I liked it because I was told they were supposed to be beautiful or something. And I remember, because I was with my kid, and I was looking at this stupid fucking sunset, like I wasted my time so often looking at it, and I was like, I don't even like this shit. Why the fuck? But you just have certain moments in your life where you come to for a second with some lucidity. But yeah, obviously we're not immune to, this terrible educative process that, weighing us down all the time. None of us are. How can we?
Something can take over our intuitions. Just look at the atrocities of the 20th century.
On some level, but you try the best you can to maybe not wallow in cliches for your whole life. If you take any subject on any arguments people make, all they are empty, false cliches, in my opinion, at least. I don't know, though.
You ever talk about this on Letterman?
Look, man, I wanted to be funny. We fucked up somewhere along the way.
No, I love it. But you say after you were on Marin and people were talking about, oh man, it blew my mind how sensitive.
Who is that? Is that she was a hooker from Friends guy? Is that guy? Who is this?
Norm was, and you said, like, yeah, anytime a comedian is I forget how you worded it.
Because there's a lower bar with comedians that if they say something that's halfway fucking makes any sense at all, it's the same with an actor. We're fucking idiots. So if a clown says something, you know what I mean? If a fucking a bird with a broken wing fucking hobbles it together to fucking
The way he just says that,
jump up and fly for 3 inches. Everybody's happy. That was a bad fucking example of that.
Oh no, it's because you're high.
Exactly. When I fucking started thinking I had MS or something, you know, with my hypochondria and shit, because people would go after shows.
Is he a hypochondriac?
"Hey, fuck, what are you on?" I'm like, nothing. They're like, your voice is slurry, and then I read something about that's whatever MS and stuff. That, you know, people have MS. At first, people think. Because they're stumbling and their balance is. I'm like, I don't have good balance and I slur my words, but no, I don't have that.
Did you get it checked?
I actually did get it checked.
I've been checked for it too.
Have you?
Well, my mom had it.
Oh yeah, it's good to be checked for everything. My God.
And after you, to bring it full circle here, after you get checked for something like a colonoscopy or MS or whatever, it gives you a new lease on life for at least a month, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's that like you walk out and the grass looks a little greener, and you know and then God is everywhere, and then a couple of days pass, and you know you're carping about the butcher didn't give you enough goddamn pork. You know you wanted a full loin, and the guy only gave you a quarter. If only we could stop with this little tiny things and this preposterous gadgetry that we're talking into, and just for a moment, like, think about real stuff. Hey, here's Josh. Come on in, man.
This would be a good time to end it.
I know, the least funny podcast of all time with a comedian.
Thank
made
you,
history. Thanks, man.
Well, y'all recommended and asked for it, so there it is. And I gave commentary, and this video is now almost 30 minutes long. And I don't know how to break this thing up, so we're just gonna throw it up. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and I already put some thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed that, and let's leave it at that. I think Norm Macdonald said enough for all of us to think about. And my initial thoughts is I was just not expecting a deep video this morning, but it makes me feel good. And if my kids or family are watching, yeah, I'm not gonna be ashamed of believing in God. I can't prove it fully, no. But because no one can prove me fully, there is no God, I just choose to believe and act as if there is one. And it makes me happy. And if it doesn't make you happy, don't do it. Just don't call me stupid for believing, right? All right, peace out, guys. Keep it real, get moving, get walking. Word.